Over 6 decades of operations and a brand recognition which is second to none, Gabriel India, the flagship company of the Anand Group, is now looking to tap into newer opportunities. To tell us about the journey so far and the way forward, we have with us Mr. Manoj Kolhatkar, MD Gabriel India. Mr. Kolhatkar, thank you for your time. 62 years, it's a long journey and I'm sure quite a rewarding one as well. So when you look back at it, what are some of the key milestones that you can share with us?
Yeah, like you said it, 60 years has been a fantastic journey. I think amazing journey all along. We have galloped along with the auto. We are now almost close to 3,000 crores. The first 1,000 took 50 years. The next 1,000 have come at real fast pace. Like I said, we mirrored the auto industry. So the last 1,000 came in just 4 years. So it's been a journey where I think Gabriel has continuously listened to the customer. I think that's one very important feature that we have always and will continue to do in future as well, where we have always captured the voice of the customer, taken that as almost religion and worked around how to meet that expectation. And that has really held us in good stead. We have had really some amazing customers in India as well as overseas, and that has helped shape Gabriel to what it is today. I'm really proud to say that Gabriel is one of those homegrown companies which have really come to this level of almost being in a pole position and now ready to address the global requirements.
So what are your global aspirations for the brand?
We have defined it in our vision as we want to be among the top 5 global manufacturers in the world as far as suspension is concerned. And I'm again happy to share that we are definitely in the top 10. And if you split that in segments, if you have, you have two-wheeler segment, passenger car segment, commercial vehicle segment, railway segment, these are the 4 broad segments. We are actually probably amongst the top 5 by volumes at least, in the top 5 for 3 of those segments, which is two-wheelers, commercial vehicle and railways. In passenger car, we of course have work to do, and we are taking our strides to ensure that we bridge this gap as well. So addressing that vision, we have laid down 4 foundation blocks. One is domestic leadership, because that is the base, that's the foundation for us. That's how we are, that's how we have come to where we are. The second important aspect is, of course, technology. So technology is the differentiator, like we all know now. So we have made a lot of investments in technology, including a latest tech center in Chakan and a tech center that's for 4-wheelers and commercial vehicle and railways, and a 2-wheeler and 3-wheeler tech center in Hosur. The third block is exports, because exports, one is the sales, but also it again teaches you a lot in terms of products, in terms of customers, in terms of the way the things are developing elsewhere in the world, which can be fed back to your home territory as well. The fourth important block is the M&A piece, the mergers and acquisitions. As you know, we have taken the first step now by venturing into a beautiful new product called sunroofs. So those are the 4 foundation blocks that we have defined for us.
When you talk about technology and you are setting up these R&D and tech centers in India, as well as you've recently also opened a tech center in Europe. So what's the thought behind it, and what do you want to do in terms of, where do you want to go in terms of the competencies that you have in-house at Gabriel?
So talking about tech centers, Mayank, actually we probably have the best and the most competent engineers in this space when it comes to damping technology. We have over 70 engineers, and we already have 75 patents to our name. So we have this new tech center that has come up in Chakan, which is again glad to share that it's a platinum rated green building right from day one. So we are ensuring that we have the state-of-the-art testing facilities. We also have a small and quick and dirty noise track there, so that we capture the noise signatures of cars and any noise issues, because the main issues that happen in shock absorbers are actually the leakage or the noise. So we have that capability as well. In terms of competency in India, we have worked with the customers understanding the local conditions of India. It's a very typical market, the road conditions, the driving patterns, the discipline of maintaining a car. But we saw that there is a gap, and I said right at the start, in passenger car being amongst the top five. And the gap is mainly around technology. And that technology is around mainly the semi-active suspension, which is the electronic suspension. Now that knowledge resides elsewhere because that market in India is yet to even start. So we decided to actually open up this European Tech Center. We opened that in Belgium. We also have a very hugely experienced expert in this field who's joined us as the CTO of Gabriel, Koen, who's a Belgian by nationality. And we also have one more employee on board, expat employee. So through this, we are ensuring that we bridge that gap in knowledge, particularly towards semi-active, but it doesn't end there. Obviously, we are working towards improving the passive technology, passive suspension technology as well, because which is the mainstay of suspension. Yeah.
So what opportunities are you eyeing with this semi-active suspension technology?
We started our journey actually to address the semi-active in passenger car, but right at the start of the journey itself, we are seeing a pull from two-wheelers as well coming into the space. So we're already developing our first prototype for motorcycle semi-active suspension. In terms of opportunity, it still is a small market globally. It is an expensive technology, but it tries to address the classical paradox of handling versus comfort in a suspension, because that is what we try to strive to do always. So what we are trying to do is, develop an excellent and a reasonable cost product in the space and address not only the Indian market, but also the global market.
So you're looking at Europe as a potential...
Yes, because this particular technology or this product requirement is more in the European market.
Right. And in terms of your manufacturing footprint, Mr. Kolhatkar, so how are you placed right now with all your existing facilities in India, and are you geared to cater to the coming demand from the industry?
Yeah, man, good question. So we actually today have seven own plants. I mean, we have our own land and we have plants on them. They're in 7 locations, mirroring the automotive footprint of India. In addition, we have 3 satellite plants, which are almost next door to the customer. So we are able to give them the best of services. But we are seeing that as we grow and as the industry grows and as the country grows, obviously we'll have to, increase our manufacturing footprint. So we are looking at some possible new greenfields as well, which should happen in the coming financial year.
So talking about sunroofs, you recently tied up with a Netherlands-based company in Alpha. So what opportunity are you seeing there, and what's the potential of growth with that product category?
So that's an interesting question, Mayank. So in fact, shock absorbers is such a product which is agnostic to powertrain. There's a lot of disruption happening, a lot of uncertainty happening around the powertrain, right, and the components that depend on the type of a powertrain. Now, shock absorber, as the name says, it absorbs that shock for us as well. It's neutral to that. So we decided, why don't we look at this frame of being an agnostic product, a high technology product, which customer pursues very highly of, and that's how it led us to this lovely product called sunroof. And we fortunately have got the world's number 2 as a partner in Alpha from Netherlands. So we are looking at some very good volumes there. As you must be reading regularly that the pull for sunroof is extremely strong. SUVs is the happening segment currently in passenger car space, and in SUVs over 50% are demanding, or in fact in some models they are even 100%. That's what some of our esteemed customers said. They want sunroof, and they want a full-blown panoramic sunroof. So it's really interesting and a lot of growth possible in future. And we are surely looking at, currently we are putting up a plant which can cater to about 200,000 pieces per year with the initial investment, and we are looking at enhancing the capacity pretty soon based on any further orders that we are able to get.
Right. And what beyond sunroofs, Mr. Kolhatkar, are you looking at also diversifying into some other areas that you see are synergistic with what Gabriel has been doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in fact, like I said, sunroof is our first step in diversification journey. So this is not the end of the story. We certainly will be looking at some more opportunities. As we speak, we are scanning some opportunities actively. Hopefully, yes, maybe a year or two, we should see another, M&A happening in our company.
And talking strategically about your manufacturing operations and the sustainability goals that all companies today have to fulfill. So how are you placed there? What's your roadmap? What's your vision? And in terms of deployment of technologies in manufacturing and meeting the green targets that you might have.
So my sustainability has been very, very dear to us. It's been dear to us right from day one. I mean, I'm talking 60 years back. You can see any of our factories, they are green right from the time you enter the gate. And it's kind of the signature of any Gabriel, or for that matter, any Anand Group plant. So we have been at it, for decades now. Now we have taken it to the next level in terms of trying to ensure that anything that we do addresses the planet, in addition to the people and the product part that we do address. We are also looking at very aggressively addressing this aspect of planet and ensuring that every process of us, every establishment, and in fact even every product of ours should be as environmentally friendly as possible, or as less environmentally damaging as possible. So we have almost 2 megawatts of solar panels deployed across all our plants in Gabriel. We have almost 20% of our energy coming from renewable through solar and wind. And in addition to that, we have 4 of our plants which have rainwater harvesting, and the rest are also in pipeline. They should also get completed by the end of this fiscal. We have zero liquid discharge so that we don't pollute the atmosphere in any way. We in fact, every new equipment that we buy or any new capex that we do, the first question we ask internally during our review is it environmentally more friendly than the previous one? Is it more safe than the previous machine that we ordered? So that's the focus, and we are willing to spend more towards this, and the ticket size is not a concern when it comes to environment.
Right. And when we talk about the process itself, so are you looking more towards automation and industry 4.0 solutions to sort of enhance the productivity at your end?
Absolutely. So we, in fact, we have many of our lines which are completely robotized. There is no human intervention at all. We have 6 lines, and we saw today one of the lines which is being tried out in the pilot phase right now. So we have over 70 robots functioning in our plants across in Gabriel. We continuously also, we have a internal movement called Garuda, which is basically flight. Garuda flies the highest, so we want to take our productivity to the highest level. So wherein we try to automate all our process to the best extent possible, continuously improve efficiencies by a mix of, improvement of productivity by employing the most technique for increasing the value added and reducing the non-value added activities. Also employing low cost automation, and then comes the high end automation, which is the robotization that I spoke of. So it's a mix of all the 3.
And anything in terms of expanding your capacity to meet the growing demand for your products from the market?
Absolutely. So like I said, our 7 plants still have some land bank available where we can expand, fortunately. So we are right now in the midst of carrying out 2 big expansions, one in our Khandsa plant, which is a passenger car plant, and again in our Chakan plant, which is our passenger car plant in Pune. We are investing over 30 crores in each plant to expand both in terms of building as well as machinery to ensure that we'll be able to meet the higher growth that we are planning to do, and also to address the need of growing at a higher rate than the market.
And lastly, talking about the business outlook, so you closed last year with almost 3,000 crore in turnover. So what's your outlook for this year, and the market? I mean, there's an assessment in the market that the passenger vehicle segment is sort of going to grow by 5 to 7% in that ballpark. So where do you see Gabriel growing, and how are you placed for FY24?
So Mike, I'll speak more from the industry point of view. So we are seeing this year as well as a good growth year. Of course, last year was a phenomenal year in terms of growth. Industry did over 22% in passenger car, almost 40% in commercial vehicle, and EVs is a very, very high growth story. This year as well, I mean, at least what we are seeing the first quarter and going forward, we are still seeing a good growth, more in the high single digit, I would say. It would be, I can hazard a guess of 8 to 10%. That is a range that we are seeing, let's say, in passenger car, commercial vehicle, and two-wheeler is a little lesser, but we are seeing some green shoots in two-wheeler as well. It's been under stress for some time, but we are seeing now the sentiment is changing slowly in two-wheeler space as well. One thing I did forget to mention to you was, our excellent market penetration in the EV two-wheeler story. We have over 70% of the market share in EV two-wheelers in suspension. So that's something very interesting, and we are ensuring that we are trying to develop products which meet the demands of EV customer as well.
Any challenges in terms of any headwinds that you still see going forward in terms of the growth of business?
No, not really. India, I mean, as a country, I think it's the only sweet spot, like we all know currently on the global stage. The forecasts are being revised upwards. IMF has recently increased the forecast to 6.1. So even on the long-term basis, the fundamentals are very right. I think I don't see, you might have a aberration here and there, but the overall trend is, of course, a solid growth story. So I don't see any major headwind as of now. Yes, semiconductors will continue to kind of be a constraint, which will affect our OEs, of course, and then consequentially affect us as well. But other than that, I think we are seeing very strong order books of OEMs. And yes, the EV story is also evolving. That's also another interesting piece. So there's good growth in that segment as well. So overall, I think, a really interesting story for auto industry.
Great, Mr. Kolhatkar. Thank you very much for your time, and wish you all the best for your endeavor to become the top 5 suspension systems maker in the world.
Thank you, Mayank. Thanks for your wishes. And